So welcome to the webinar, Revealing Your Hidden Potential in Life, Career, and Business. I almost said welcome to the BG5 certification class, and that I'm so used to saying that week after week. So welcome to Revealing Your Hidden Potential in Life, Career, and Business. Welcome to those of you who are literally here with us live. I saw your names a few minutes ago. Some I am familiar with. And welcome also to those who will be listening via a recording. And the three of us are going to welcome you into, I'm going to say, the BG5 Institute. We are the official source of the career and business application of the human design system. So today is going to be an introduction to the system. Most importantly, the possibilities. I'm going to use the word here on the screen, the potential that it provides for your personal and your professional life and work and relationships and career and business. I am running my mouth, so I will tell you, my name is, I am Tuck Self. I am the presenter and I'll say the instructor for the webinar today. I'm also one of the upcoming instructors for the foundation courses, specifically the one that I'm teaching is beginning July the 18th. I'll be teaching both semester 1 as well as semester 2 for the remainder of this year. And then excitedly, in 2025, we're going to continue with the BG5 consultant certification courses. There will be 3 of those. That will begin January 23rd, 2025. As you can see here also, I am here with Sarah McGowan, who is the BG5 Business Institute Administrator, and Loveline Pantal, who is been and is one of the assistants in the class, as well as being a BG5 certified consultant. So again, today it's an opportunity for you to learn more about how this system can make a contribution to your life, to, I'm going to say, what, when, where, and how you work, with the intention of aligning you with exactly what it is that you are designed to do in life and in work. And so our focus, it really is to empower, and I love the word inspire, your careers and your businesses, so that not only do you get to feel successful and fulfilled, you get to prosper as a byproduct. And so I'll be sharing a lot of information, hopefully encouraging you to join one of our courses, upcoming courses, I'll say it that way. And given the toolkit of the methodologies of the BG5 system as we're sharing it with you today, given it's something that you'd like to add to your toolkit in terms of how you work with your clients, we'll talk about that as well. So myself and my dog, we thank you for your time and your listening today. And I'm going to trust that by the end of our time together, that you will walk away with a couple of nuggets of wisdom and a few insights. And so specifically to support you in understanding what the agenda is today, we're going to talk briefly to this huge and major time of transition that we're in, that's creating shifts and changes specifically in the landscape of how people work and do business today. So there are a whole new set of struggles, as well as lingering ones, in terms of what individuals are seeking today in terms of doing what they love and making a living, or better yet, I'm going to say, to make a life, to create a life that's balanced and prosperous and fulfilling. And so we will introduce you to the BG5 system. We'll talk about what makes it unique in terms of the power that's inherent within this beautiful system to change you as well as every aspect of your life, again, to align you to the right work for yourself, relationships, and career. We're going to talk specifically about these 5 key elements, the codes that are a part of our methodology that will reveal your hidden potential. And then we're going to provide an overview of the upcoming foundation classes. And I have a slider or 2 for the certification classes as well. And then any questions that you have, we've got Loveline and we've got Sarah here. Given you have a question, to put that in the chat box, because we do want to make sure that we are answering any questions that you have. To start at the beginning, given any of you have your free career design charts in front of you, that's spectacular. If you do not, run on over to the BG5 Business Institute website, grab a copy of your chart so that you can follow along with us as we go through the information. And so I get that there is a lot on this slide. However, I'm only going to speak briefly about myself. The reason there's a lot on the screen is that as I look back over my life, I am absolutely gobsmacked at how each and every one of my careers has fallen right in alignment with who I am in terms of career type and express builder, as well as anything and all else that I have done. Going through the certification and foundation classes, it has been eye-opening to see how beautifully I was drawn into the right careers throughout my long life. And so I was introduced to human design, as you see here, back in 2003. I'm a personal growth enthusiast, and the universe heard my call. My older sister introduced me to the system, and for me, it was as if somebody literally took their hand off of a cork that had been being held underwater, and I was free at last. That was, some 20 odd years ago. I discovered aspects about myself where I was holding back and diminishing myself. These were the places where I'm actually designed to express myself outwardly in, this beautiful outward flow. And so I see that we are given with this system, this beautiful map for understanding ourselves, where we're stuck, and most importantly, to support us to thrive. So again, 20 years ago, I still am in love with this body of work. I have shared it with my clients and my friends, family, colleagues, and frequently I will say anyone courageous enough to step within 5 feet of my energy field. So I am what you call, again, an express builder in the BG5 career types. We're going to talk about those today, in case you don't know what yours is. And I say excitedly, by the grace of God, in 2017, I was introduced to BG5. I had already been sharing the information with businesses and business owners and was slightly held back due to the esoteric language. BG5 comes with with this beautiful professional language, as well as an intention to move around the globe. So I excitedly dove in. As you can see, I love to study. So I am now a BG5 consultant, profit potential OC16 cycles consultant, and I am an instructor for the foundation as well as the certification courses. And so thank you for listening. I'm just deeply grateful that you are here with me so that I can do what I love to do and share this beautiful methodology and system. I'm here with Loveline and Sarah. I thought I would give each of you, if you want to, just a moment to say whatever there is to say about yourself, and then we'll just move right along. So Sarah, if you want to go first, anything you want to say?
Hi, everybody. I'm just excited to be here. Tuck is a phenomenal instructor, and she's going to have some really great stuff to share with us today. I'm one of the administrators at the Institute. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar or after the webinar, I'd be more than happy to help guide you on your journey to learn more about BG5 and yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Loveline, are you unmuted?
Yeah, I'm here. Welcome everyone to this wonderful webinar about BG5 system. I am Loveline from Toronto, and I'm an evaluator and a certified business consultant. We welcome you. This is a great journey to discover yourself. And feel free to ask any questions you may have during our session here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I consider myself privileged, lucky, all of those things, to have Loveline in class as an evaluator, in that she adds a completely different perspective in terms of her type, which we will talk about today. So thank you both for being here. I'm going to move forward in giving us a context from which to receive the information. Here are 4, we can call them converging challenges that we as human beings are facing today, and that make the timing of being gifted with this information really precious to us personally and professionally. Number one, obviously the changing times. We'll talk more about that in a moment. People, the challenges that individuals are dealing with today with their jobs, how they make their money, how they pay their bills. It has created enormous anxiety and stress. I hear today that work-life balance is pretty much non-existent. All of that really does create a negative effect, I'm going to say, on our health and well-being. And then look out the door. I go, it's just no surprise that how we're interacting with one another in this day and time, how we're communicating, again, is a major contributing factor, not only to our health and well-being, but also to our success and or our frustration and anger. And so I believe, I'm going to collectively speak for Sarah and Lovely. We believe that now is the time to be present to how we're spending the lion's share of our life. Are we doing what we love and making money and thriving, or are we simply surviving? And so the BG5 is specifically designed to support each and every one of us to balance our life and our work and stay healthy, and to identify and express our natural gifts and talents so that we can create this life that we love and that we dream of, where we're fulfilled and we don't have to drive and force things anymore. We will prosper bounteously as a byproduct, which that always excites me. So the Dalai Lama, the one and only Dalai Lama, has said, man, woman sacrifices their health in order to make money, and then sacrifices the money to recuperate health. And then he or she is so anxious about the future that we do not even enjoy the present, the result being that we don't live in the present or the future. We live as if we're never going to die, and then we die having never really lived. Sobering concept and thought and quote. So our role, given you are curious about moving forward as a BG5 consultant, what we do is provide individuals with a sense of what it is that we are designed to do in life, and to be aligned with our gifts and talents so that we can live a healthy and prosperous life. And so one of my favorite slides, we've been showing this for quite some time, but I love it in that it is not only informative, to me, it's really settling, based on the changes that we all have been experiencing over the past couple of years. It's heartwarming and it's deeply grounding to have, I'm going to say, to have this BG5 system in our hot little hands. Human design and its originator, Ra-Uru, who spoke years ago about this very specific time of transition that we're currently experiencing. So as you see here on the left, since 1615, I won't do my math, but that's quite some time, we have been operating in a world with this background frequency that's called the age of planning. And what that means is that we've been focusing on building our lives, the structures around us, the institutions, our communities, our ways of life, in ways that are now breaking down. I mean, it's just no surprise based on what we've gone through over the past couple of years. And we can see that all of this is coming to an end very soon in 2027. And so as we have focused on building institutions and large corporations and communities and systems and authorities, look at the institutions of what? Healthcare, education, government, social, political, economic. Truth be told, that over this time, we've basically given our power and authority over to these outside structures, holding that they know better for us than we know for ourselves. That's huge. It's a huge and sobering concept. Again, also to know that as these institutions and systems have been being built, We've done that with collective agreements and the system of bargaining and hierarchy. When I grew up, it was, I'll go to work for you and this is what I expect in payment. So this is that the bargain and the terms of trade is how we've been operating. Also, and I'll speak to how it was when I came along. It was really important to go to college and develop a specific skill to be successful, to be able to find the right one job that allowed me and us to climb the hierarchical ladder. Competition was how we did it. We did it alone, to be the best. And as Donna Summer says, and I thought, God, I might date myself, we were working hard for the money, whether we were invested in what it is that we were doing or not. And so this picture with the watch here, for my parents specifically, as well as myself, the way that we worked was for one company pretty much for our entire careers. And then we would retire and we would get the watch. That is not how things are moving forward. That's not how things are working anymore. Everything is changing. The structures are crumbling. And I say, as we're moving forward, we got good news. I always love a happy ending to every story. And so our happy ending is where it is that we are headed. Human design, as well as BG5, are here to point the way forward to where it is that we're going, and where we're going is into a brand new cycle. It is called the age of individuality, meaning this is about you personally, you, the individual. What is it that makes your heart sing, that inspires you to be creative, that expands the abundance of your spirit so that you take leaps of faith in yourself and trust yourself to share your innate gifts and talents doing what you love. You get to make a choice for yourself in terms of how you want to make your contribution, trusting your inner authority versus, I'm going to say, those outside authorities, but honoring your own individuality. And from there, building a life where you can experience success, ease, and prosperity. And the other thing that gets me really excited is that as we are honoring ourselves and as we are working individually this way, trusting our own inner self, we are literally going to self-organize. We're going to cooperate versus be in competition with one another. There's not going to be any need for that work hierarchy anymore. You're going to find that you're drawn to the right people, the right jobs, the right work environments, and bond with individuals, partner, cooperate in ways that I believe are going to gobsmack every single one of us. But we'll feel this joy, creativity, and sense of ease, in alignment with life and love and work that deeply resonate with our hearts and our souls. And so I love this setup because I think it's really important to know that even though we have lots of changes and challenges and chaos going on in the world, that is what we're here for, is to empower ourselves and others to move forward in a completely new way. And so to just speak briefly to a few of the specifics that are affecting us in terms of the change, the way people interview for jobs is completely different today, completely different than when I came along, because we didn't have the internet and we certainly weren't virtual anywhere doing anything. I also, the plethora of staffing companies that are available right now to support individuals define work. That's incredible. And I believe the system that we have is a huge support as well. Onboarding processes have changed. People don't want to work the way they used to work. They're looking to work remotely, in hybrid ways, flexible hours. I know my daughter-in-law doesn't drive to work anymore. She doesn't sit in the same office that she used to. Offices are like ghost towns almost. All of this also is going to affect the way that people in the workplace gather, say for teams and management meetings. Those are now, for the most part, virtual as well as online. I mean, think about it. Rarely are we face to face, like we're on a webinar right now. Rarely are we face to face with one another. And I get tickled when I think about the 7 dwarfs when they would say, hi ho, it's off to work I go. That is not how things are operating anymore today. And so there are just two concepts that have emerged out of all of these challenges that are worthy of speaking to. One is this great resignation that as people, individuals have had time off because of the pandemic. Individuals took the time to reflect, to look at what it is that they're doing, with the lion's share of their time, and re-examining how they're spending their time, uh, which has created this movement. I say it's more, it is the movement. It's not joining the movement. People are the movement themselves, in that individuals are no longer willing to be undervalued, unhappy, underpaid, exhausted. Work-life balance, again, from what I hear from my clients, is absolutely non-existent. And so the requirement to be respected and balanced and connected, and as you see here, 39%, which I think is huge, 39% of the individuals want to be their authentic selves as work. We can support individuals to do that with their career design. Not only has this great resignation come forth, this concept of quiet quitting, which was intriguing to me. 59% of employees, they just do the bare minimum these days. Again, they're not psychologically, emotionally, mentally, I'll even use the word spiritually, aligned to what it is that they're doing. And so they are given the bare minimum. They're not going to go up and above and beyond what they are asked to do. And a lot of it, as we're going to find out, has to do with the work environment as well. And then 18%, they're not quiet about it at all. They're loud. They're loud in terms of what they're not happy about, and they are actively disengaged and looking for new work. So we in the BG5 world, we feel satisfied that we have a solution to offer the resigned, as well as the quiet and the loud quitters, in supporting all of us to find the right work and also the right environments. And so then finally, to look at Ryan Rolansky's comment about the company cultures today, as well as us as individuals, that CEOs, they're rethinking how the company works, they're rethinking the culture, rethinking values, and what it means to work at that company. That's huge. And then the individuals, you have employees globally who are rethinking themselves, not just how they work, but how come they work and what they want to do with their careers as well as their lives. And so with that beautiful, beautiful setup, I'd love to say, just what if you were given your own personalized map for that reevaluation, the reinventing, the rethinking of your life and work? And what if it allowed you and supported you to fully understand exactly who it is that you are and how you operate, so that you can align with that? That it identified your natural inherent gifts, skills, and talents, so that you can make your contribution in a way that makes your heart sing? And what if it revealed your hidden potential, which is the webinar title for our day-to-day? And then what if it allowed you to balance the way that you work, your work and your life? What if that was a result? And also, what if it was connecting you not only to the right people, but to the right environments where you could expand and express yourself, doing what you love, loving what you do, and prospering? I'm going to use the word bounteously again as a byproduct. So we're here to say welcome to BG5 and to our BG5 world, knowing again, saying again that BG5 is the official source of the career and the business application of the human design system. Here, and Sarah can attest to this. We are very excited about being able to educate individuals about their design, train and certify career and business consultants and coaches in utilizing this proprietary system to empower people around us, people around the world, to identify their talents and their strengths, to reach their full potential. I have been deeply inspired at the individuals from around the world that have showed up in my classes and their commitment to this work and to authentically expressing themselves and sharing the system with others. As you see here, again, one of the most exciting happenings, the Washington Post in 2023 identified human design as one of the top end trends in the world. This is absolutely huge for those of us who are here sharing this information, and that human design and the BG5, it's not well known in the way that people know astrology and the Enneagram. So I say our time is here and our time has come. And so as we speak to the power, remember the power inherent in this system, many times the way that we share it with other people is to speak to it as a personal and a professional assessment tool, similar to Myers-Briggs, Strength Finders, discs, and I understand there are plenty new ones, you all, that I'm not even aware of. And so to think of the BG5 system as a cross between those personal and professional assessment tools and, those assessments, the genotype assessments where, your genetic identity is revealed. It's a powerful, powerful system. One of the many unique things about this BG5 system and the information and where it comes from is that it's based on 3 questions that you get to answer that are never going to change because it's your birth date, time, as well as location. What it's not based on, excitedly, is you don't got to go sit down and take a test with this subjective, questions and answers that are going to change based on the day that you take that test, your mood, your perspective. From my experience, and I have the thought, Loveline and Sarah as well, this is the most accurate, supportive, inspiring, and empowering information available to discover your hidden potential. And so our mission and our vision, which we are committed to, is to align you with your authentic life work, that old 39%, and to support you to identify and live out, your natural gift, skills, and talents. We're here to provide practical tools that are going to allow you to fully express yourself in the world. Again, prospering as a byproduct. So I got to share this. Last week, I was on a webinar with Tony Robbins and Dean Grazioso, I think that was his name. And the webinar had everything to do with these changing times that we're in and what is required moving forward in terms of how we work in our careers. And they opened that webinar with 3 pieces of information that are absolutely required to move forward. Number 1 is to have a map. They said that, to have a map, which I thought, hark, we have a map. We have the career design chart. Number 2, you need a guide. And that is exactly what we are doing here at the BG5 Institute, is educating individuals and creating consultants as guides. And the number 3, they said you need practical tools. And that's what I just said. That is what we're here to provide. So I got very excited that they were affirming and confirming what it is that we are here to offer in terms of the BG5 system as your source and your solution. And so Tony says, identify your problems, but give your power and your energy to the solutions. That is so typical of how we operate here in the BG5 world, with individuals, with partners, with small and large businesses, with our maps, which I'm going to show you in a short little moment, to know that we frequently share we are a problem solution focused system. So we meet you and individuals exactly where you are. We support you to honor your own sovereignty, authority, be your own guru, and introduce you to this system so that not only is your potential revealed, you then get to fully understand and embrace and flow forward, doing exactly what it is that you are designed to do, and make a contribution in a way that allows you to feel like you're a part of something bigger than who you are individually. We're going to give you the information so that you make your right choices and right timing for that right work and that right environment. And so, in terms of wanting to be respected and valued and balanced, and recognized and making a contribution that aligns with your heart and your soul, that is what the BG5 system is here to offer. And so, before we go into our 5 success codes that are going to reveal your hidden potential, I think it's fun to let you know how we work with individuals, partnerships, small groups, and large groups. We have a methodology and we've got maps to work with our clients personally and professionally. So here they are. This is the one that we're going to talk about today, the BG5 Career Design Chart that reveals the personal aspects of who you are, what you're designed to do, how you operate, and how it is that you're to make those accurate decisions for yourself. And also to know there are 16 success codes in the BG5 methodology. We're going to look at the first 3 here today, plus 9 and 10. But all of these 16 success codes are found in this one little graphic illustration that will allow you to express yourself and be successful when you fully understand what all of those are. So we also work with partnerships, new ones, existing ones. Maybe you want to create a partnership. And so we, again, are going to incorporate all of these codes as we work with our partnerships to look at where the strengths are, where are the potential areas of conflict, where are the tensions, where might somebody be compromised. And more importantly, we're going to support you to navigate all of those challenges, to be aware and expectant of them, and to accept them. And we also work with small groups, teams, and businesses. We utilize our small group map to do that. It will reveal to you, as well as your clients, are you designed to work in a small group? And given you are already a part of one, what is having you feel comfortable? How do you make your contribution to feel successful and recognized? And or what's happening that has you feel more discomfort? And how do you navigate that? We also work with our large group OC16 map with the same type of thing. Are you designed to work in that large group? And given that you are, what is it that you can expect in terms of those large group dynamics? So we got something for everyone, and we got something for everything in terms of environments. Again, these are the 16 success codes. I'm going to skim 1 through 3, 9 and 10 today. Here's what there is for you to know if you are to implement and were to implement simply the ones that we are touching on today. You will begin to change your life, impact your life in the way that you operate in the present and eternal here and now in this one very moment. And so as we move forward, I just thought I'd stop for a minute, Sarah, to see if there are any questions or comments in the chat box, anything that either of you two want to add to anything that I have said.
We do have a question from Monica. Are corporations ready for the change? I suspect they know very well and have the information. However, from 2027, how will corporations change? Do you have any insight on this, Tuck?
It's interesting. I have my own experience, and then I have a couple of the companies that I have worked with recently. My experience when I used to share this information, and I'm going to say with managers, team leaders, CEOs, no one had ever talked to them at this level. Like I don't say I'm talking to your soul. That's not my language. I don't use that. But I feel as if they were so connected and so identified and so seen, felt, and heard in how I shared the information. It was completely different than what they were used to, and they were hungry for more. And, in the corporations that I see today, they're ready for a change. I think that's why Ryan Rolansky, if I pronounced that correct, spoke to how companies are looking to change their values. They're rethinking how their culture operates. And so I think they're open. Is change going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. Will it take time? Probably, I would say that. And again, I actually work with a staffing company. Maybe it was last year, and they thoroughly were they were deeply moved by the full comprehensive analysis that I did with them. They were absolutely floored at the dynamics of how they were interacting with one another as a team. So the information was intriguing to them. I'm not still working with them, so I don't know what the end result was. So did that answer your question? Should I assume yes?
Yes. Yeah, she said it did. Great. We're happy to help you out with that question, Monica.
Yeah. So anything else, Sarah?
Not at the moment, but thank you for sharing all this. And everyone, if you have questions, you can go ahead and put them in the Q&A box, and Tuck can answer them live at the end of the webinar or whenever she takes a break. So please feel free to use the Q&A box as you need to.
And so I just feel, with the world as it is today, we are poised, if I can say it that way, to be able to change our own lives to be in alignment ourselves. And again, if it's something that you choose to do with your clients and others, this is an incredible system to support that process. The world's going to change. We might as well align with it and create that sense of ease and flow. I'm going to say versus the effort and struggle. And so the 5 codes here that are designed in this particular webinar, as we're talking to you, to reveal your hidden potential. Please know that we are only covering the surface of how these operate today in the foundation classes, as well as the certification classes. We dive deeply into how these operate for yourself as well as others. And again, as I said a minute ago, if you were to implement simply these 5 codes today, they would deeply impact your life and transform you in the here and now. So code number 1 is career type. We're going to talk about each of these as we go forward. So this is how you're designed to best express yourself in life, in work, and most importantly, since this is career and business, in your career. It's going to provide you with the most effective, the easiest. Don't we want to experience ease in the most natural way? It's going to show you and give you the information in terms of how is it that you are to utilize your energy in your personal and professional work and life so that you're able to share your unique gift, skills, and talents in a way that you're honoring and being in aligned with your true nature. Code number 2 is personal interaction style. You will find that it is a function of your career type. And so it's letting you know how you're designed to interact with other people. It's letting you know that every single time you are interacting with another person, when you're communicating, that you bring to this exercise a non-verbal presence and a non-verbal communication style. And so it's always there. And to know what this is, it's vitally important to know it, to align with it, in that this is what's going to remove the resistance that you might be feeling in your communications and interactions and create that sense of ease and flow. Code number 3 is your decision-making strategy. You will hear all of us say ad nauseum. This is the biggest key in BG5, in that once you have this information, everything else in your design it literally will fall into place. The simplicity is always to follow your decision-making strategy. And so this is information on how you are personally and uniquely designed to make choices for yourself. It's your strategy for making those choices in alignment with your design. Code number 4 is your defined functions. So given you have a copy of your chart, this is what's colored in. So there are 9 functions that you're going to learn about in the foundation courses. know that defined functions represent, your core strengths, the talents and the skills and the gifts that you're here to share with others. And they represent, what you are designed to rely on in terms of your strength and in making that contribution. And as you align with that, as you know it, you understand it, you rely on it as consistent and true for you, it's going to ground you deeply in your life and in achieving your vision and your goals. And then code number 5, shadows and distractions. So these are open places, open functions in your chart as you're looking at your chart. So there are also places in your life that have the power to pull you off track, to distract you, to have you operate from conditioning and far, far away from your potential that we are going to reveal to you. So in our classes, not only do we teach you to become aware of and understand these shadows and distractions, but the exciting thing is you'll learn to utilize that information so that you can turn around and share the wisdom of those functions with other people. So this is where we're going. Before we go there, it might be fun for you to type into the chat box what your career design type is, given that you know what it is. Also, that in the BG5 world, generators are builders, projectors are advisors, manifestors are initiators, and reflectors are evaluators. And so type that in, and I'm going to ask Sarah and Loveleen to look at that while I go ahead and move through success code 1, and then we'll revisit who and what we have when I am complete with this success code. So again, how is it that you're designed to best express yourself in the world is success code number 1. It's going to reveal that easy, natural way that you're designed to utilize and apply your energy so that you can share your natural, true gifts with the world. Years ago, I was introduced to the 7 spiritual laws of success by Deepak Chopra, and I was so excited when he said, Tuck, well, not to me personally, each of us has this unique gift, skill, and talent that is ours to express, and how we do it and how we express it, is unique to us, it's individual to us. And it's really important that we find what that is and that we express and align with it, because there are people out in the world waiting for us. And once we're aligned, that's when we're going to be able to attract those people. So in a world that really wants us to be homogenized, and I don't know, operate the way everybody to the right and the left operates, the way they want to control us, this is extraordinary information to have. And so in the foundation courses, as you learn about your career type, I have the thought it's going to free you similar to the way that it freed me when I took my hand off the cork that was being held underwater. And it's going to fully give you permission to be who you are. And I make up that on some intuitive level, you're going to know that's who you were all along anyway. And once you know your career type, in addition to understanding how you operate in those unique and specific ways, you'll learn that we're also designed to work in different environments and to interact in specific ways with each other based on those environments. We're clearly not designed to be like everyone else. And so we're going to give you your one and only way to authentically express yourself. Now, there are 4 foundational career types, and here they are: the initiator, the builder, the advisor, and the evaluator. So with our initiators, here you are in the yellow. You make up 8% of the population, given you are an initiator. And so what is it that you're here to do? You're here to get things started. Like your title as an initiator, you're here to initiate. And with that initiation comes this impactful energy. So you're here to impact, you're here to be innovative. You're designed to apply your energy and utilize your energy again to get things up and running. And what's interesting is that you are the only type truly designed to operate this way, to initiate things. The rest of us, we are not designed to operate the way that you operate. I was highly intrigued to learn about this way back in 2006, and that my experience is 92% of the rest of us throughout this age of planning and just in general, we've been educated, encouraged, trained, raised to, I'm going to use the word pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, but just do it, to initiate. That is not our way. That is your way as an initiator. And so we're waiting on you to initiate us. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to use your energy. Builders, like myself, we're obviously designed to build. We provide the energies, as you see here, to move things along. And our gift is to be very expressive in terms of our vitality and our creativity. We're generating this life force energy for ourselves and other people. And so we're building and we're generating as either a classic builder or an express builder. So you see the 37 and the 33. When we add that up, that is 70% of the population. And I frequently say we rule the world. So it really is important that as builders, we are aligned with who we are and operating in accordance with our career type. That's very important. Also in the foundation classes, you will learn, I will touch on it here, the classic builder and the express builder as two types in the story of the tortoise and the hare. The classic builder is like the tortoise, moving rhythmically and step by step like a turtle moves, moving the energy along to get to completion. Express builders are like the hare, running around, jumping around, quick and efficiently, getting to that completion as well. So we both get there. We simply get there in two completely different ways. For those of you who are advisors, you are all about recognition. I asked my brother that one time as an advisor, what is recognition to you? And he said, everything. And so not initiating, not building, your design to wait to be recognized. And once you are recognized, you are going to lead and guide the energies of others. You're going to guide the process. Your true gift is recognition, which is then going to allow you to recognize the talents and the gifts in others, bring them together. As a gifted organizer, you see things that we miss. You're able to maximize energy and resources and do it very efficiently and effectively. 21% that you are. And then evaluators like Loveleen, truly extraordinary, this teeny little sliver here at 1% of the population. Evaluators are here to let us know how it is that our communities and our environments and our world are going. They do this with their gift of objectivity. When you see their chart, their functions are completely wide and open, as are their strengths. We look at them and we refer to them as our canaries in the coal mine, because they are very sampling and reflective and evaluating the quality of an environment. So bottom line, when you know your career type, it's going to allow your heart to sing. It's going to allow you to experience, I'm going to say, joy and ease, rather than the effort and the struggle and the overwhelm that's going to come when you don't know your career type and or are not living in alignment with it. And so I'll stop there to see what we ended up with in the chat box, Sarah and or Loveleen, and anything that there is to add based on what's being typed in there.
Patty has a great question. My environmental style is solo or large groups, but not so much for small groups. How would that affect me if I were to take this course? Would it still work for me?
Yes, one of the things, of course I'm gonna say yes, but one of the things that we speak to in the certification courses, as we're talking about the maps, everything comes down to your decision-making strategy. Honor that first, coming into the courses. Anyone can, CAN, work in any environment. given they are entering that environment, that job, whatever that is, in alignment with their decision-making strategy. What we do in the courses in terms of the environment is simply to share with our clients what is that ideal environment, and what happens in environments based on their design. And there's never a is it one and done, one-stop shop? Like, we synthesize the design. There are nuances there that are going to affect how we work in each environment. So the simple answer is to follow your decision-making strategy. Does that answer the question, Sarah? I don't know who asked it.
Patty asked the question. Patty, if you could let us know in the chat if you have any follow-up questions, we'd be happy to elaborate as needed. She
Perfect.
says that it makes sense, and thank you.
Patty. So what kind of a diversity do we have here? Just curious.
With our career types, I don't have an exact percentage, but it looks like we have several express builders, advisors, and two initiators, a classic builder, and we do not have any evaluators. But there's quite a few advisors.
That's why we got Loveline. I know I have been quite curious, and I'm a curious anyway with my trade 11, how many advisors have been showing up in the courses, because in the beginning there were lots and lots from my experience of builders. And so, there's a lot of information in these courses. I appreciate the way the Institute has set it up to provide the information in layers, and the importance of repetition, going back and listen to the recordings and interacting in the class and in the forum as well. I think all of that makes a huge, huge difference. So if we're all together, I'll move to success code number 2, which I shared earlier, is a function of the career type. Again, has everything to do with your non-verbal energy that you're bringing to each and every communication. So this code is providing information on how you're interacting with others so that the friction can be eliminated and you're able to communicate clearly and effectively. We speak frequently in our classes about the fact that 93% of how we are expressing ourselves is nonverbal, is unconscious. It is the energy that you are bringing to your interaction. So to the extent that you know what your style is and align with it, that's going to determine the clarity and the ease of your communication. When you don't know what this is, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling challenged, chaotic, not feeling seen, felt heard, frustrated, angry, all of those things, it is a possibility that you are not familiar with your personal interaction style, which again is a function of your career type. Aligning with that makes all the difference in the world, not only for yourself, it makes a huge difference in interacting with your colleagues and the other individuals in your life. It's so important to know what that is and to be able to honor that. So here again are our 4 career types, along with the personal interaction style, that nonverbal communication for each. We'll start with you, those of you who are initiators. So when it comes to your nonverbal communication, it is a possibility that the people around you are going to experience you as closed and protective. You're here to impact and move out and not be interrupted. And so frequently, it's challenging sometimes to get in that closed and protective energy, and it may be experienced as pushing outward, so repelling sometimes. So based on this closed, protecting, protective, pushing out kind of energy, your personal interaction style is going to be to inform before you act. This is going to minimize, remove any resistance, because you are impacting and you are in your flow and you don't want to be interrupted. That's going to bring forth anger, possibly. So as an initiator, when you do inform before you act, again, it allows people to prepare for your big impact, to get what you're up to. And I'm going to say, most importantly, it will elicit support from the people around you and foster an environment of freedom and peace for you, which is going to be very important. So inform before you act. In terms of builders, here we are in red, y'all. We are open, we are enveloping, we have this nonverbal frequency then that is so open that frequently we can overcommit our energy. So remember, we got our head down, we're building, we're moving forward, we're expressing our life force energy. And given we do that, we overcommit, we're going to feel this intense frustration. So our personal interaction style based on that is to stay open and enveloping and respond before engaging. So we're waiting for something to come to us so that we can respond and that we can then engage. That's going to allow us to walk away with that hum of satisfaction versus feeling that frustration. With our advisors, those of you who are advisors, you got this intense nonverbal presence. It's focused, it's absorbing. Remember, you're gifted in recognizing the talents and the gift of others, and you want people to be receptive to what it is that you have to share. And so your personal interaction style is going to be to wait, to be recognized, and then invited, so that people are open to you. When you do this, you're naturally going to draw the right people in who are going to recognize your talents and insights, that you then get to turn that around and recognize theirs. Given you don't follow your personal interaction style and you share your insights without waiting, others may not be open to you. They may feel interfered with, and all of this is simply going to have you feel bitter, certainly not successful and recognized. And then for our evaluator career type, your nonverbal communication, it's samples, it's sampling and resistant. We frequently say like Teflon. So given you're somebody that cooks on a Teflon pan, somebody asked me what that was one time. Food doesn't stick to it. And so things don't stick to that, stick to you as an individual. Remember, evaluators have that gift of objectivity. So their presence is reflecting the environment as a whole. You'll discover that evaluators work best when they're at the center of a group or a business or a community so that they can move around freely and sample and reflect. This is what's going to allow them to remove resistance and disappointment. So your personal interaction style is going to be to wait, move around, reflect, all of that, and assess. That's what, again, is going to remove the resistance, but more importantly, bring to you a beautiful sense of freedom, delight, wonder, and surprise. So any questions with the personal interaction styles? Is that clear for everybody? I'm going to assume it is. And then we're going to, Sarah, just stop me and let me know if somebody asks a question, okay?
I will.
That's code number 3, decision-making strategy, the key to unlocking everything in your design. Again, knowing your best process for making choices in life and relationships and work. That's what's going to bring you that sense of confidence, reliability, and resistance. You know, think about it. I don't want to think, but when we make choices, that is the one thing in life that we do have some sense of control over, you know, how we're looking at the world out there and then making a choice and decision. So wouldn't it make sense to know how to make choices that are in alignment with our design? So we're going to look at briefly at what those are. We're not going to go into them today. You got to come to class for that. However, before we go into your specific decision-making strategies, we always want to drive the point home, and that is, where is the worst place from which to make decisions? And that would be your thinking mind, you all. We want your mind to do what it was designed to do, to listen, to take in information, to look at all sides. However, do not let that little petty tyrant make choices for you, because it's going to throw you off track, second guess your decision-making strategy. It's doing all of that out of fear because it thinks it's keeping you safe and secure and certain, and it's not. So what you learn is that the mind runs into all of these open functions, and like the little petty tyrant that it is, it's going to have you act from your emotional impulses, trying to fit in, not be rejected, prove you're good enough, smart enough, You're going to get under pressure and in a hurry. Again, all out of absolute fear of the unknown, the future, and my favorite, FOMO, fear of missing out. And so when we look at Success Code 5, we'll speak to these functions and what happens when we operate from the conditioned shadow behaviors versus our decision-making strategy. And so I simply put this in because I think it's an interesting look for what happens when you're in a narrative and a storyline. So simplicity, when you're saying any of these things audibly or in your head, storyline, narrative, you are no longer in alignment with your decision-making strategy. So we won't go into them. We're just going to speak to how many each of the types have in terms of the decision-making strategies. Looking at you as our initiators, remember you're designed to initiate, create impact. You got that closed, nonverbal presence. You're informing before you act so that you can stay in your flow, eliminate resistance, and create support from the people around you. You got 3 decision-making strategies to guide your choices: waiting for emotional clarity, instinctive knowing, which has everything to do with your instincts and intuition, and willful determination, your willpower, all of those. And so given you decide to make a decision from your mind versus any one of these 3, you are going to create resistance and be angry and interrupt your flow versus that freedom and peace that you seek. So you want to come to class to see which one yours is. Builders, remember, we're open, we're enveloping, we're vital, we're creative, we're doing what we love, we're moving along. You have 2. One is that wait for clarity again. The other is honoring your gut response. Honoring your decision-making strategy versus being in your head is going to allow you to hum and be fully satisfied doing what you love. Advisors, with your focused and absorbing personal interaction style, we know you are to wait to be recognized and invited to lead others. That's so that you are rewarded with your feeling of success and being seen. When you're in your head versus honoring, look at that. One of your decision-making strategies, you are going to feel bitter. You're not going to feel seen. And trust me, other people will feel interfered with. You have the most diverse ways. So there are 5 different ways. It's the emotional clarity again, the instinctive knowing, willful determination, or listening to what it is that you say, number 1, from the core of your identity, and number 2, as you hear yourself speak to a trusted group of individuals. Our evaluators like Loveline, one distinct way of making decisions. It has everything to do with taking your time to honor the lunar cycle with your personal interaction style, where you're sampling, evaluators are sampling and reflecting the environment. They got to take time to discuss, to reflect and discuss that reflection with others. This is what's going to bring them that sense of delight and surprise versus disappointment. So decision-making strategy, key to unlocking everything in your design. Any questions or comments about that one? Okay. Success code number 4, for those of you who have your design with you, this has everything to do with the 9 functions. Everyone has 9 functions in their design, whether they're colored in or not. That's what creates the differentiation. So when it's colored in, we call it defined. When it's white and open, we call it undefined. And again, it's going to identify your strengths and talents. It's going to let you know what you can trust about yourself and your power so that you can stay grounded and aligned and true to your nature. So if you have your chart, again, here are the 9 functions. Know that each relates to an aspect of your biology. Information in terms of what are your core strengths that are consistent, and you are to rely on them, much like I shared. I did not rely on mine until somebody showed me my chart, and I went, hark, that's where I've been diminishing myself. This is what you're designed to express. So drive and stamina, the root in human design, supplies adrenalized pressure and fuel to your life to evolve, as well as to the entire body graph. The energy resource, the sacral in design, makes one a builder, as we all know, classic or express. As we've shared, it's that internal motor that's building, creating, that life force energy, generating that energy for yourselves and others. Survival instinct, the spleen. This is your intuitive awareness and power. It's where your instincts and your intuition are going to alert you as to what you need to survive, to adapt, and to thrive. It's not your mind. Emotional intelligence, the solar plexus, carries emotional energy. And what comes with this, for those of us who have it defined, is a responsibility to learn how to patiently harness the benefits of this energy as we flow up and down on our waves. Remember, this was one of the decision-making strategies. Wait for clarity. The little teeny tiny triangle, your willpower, the ego and the heart. It's all about bringing material resources forth, bringing resources forth on the material plane, having the will to make and keep your promises, and building trust in that process. The identity and direction, the little yellow diamond, the G center, it brings this strong sense of self and the strong sense of your identity. You know who you are, you know where you're going. The vehicle may change now and then, so a fixed and a reliable sense of mission and direction, which you are really good at supporting others to do as well. Communication and action carries a reliable and consistent way that you express yourself based on what it is connected to. So some people will speak their mind, some will speak their will. I speak from my emotions, I speak from my core identity, some speak from their energy resource, and some speak from their intuition. So you want to know how it is that you are configured. At the top of the chart, we have inspiration, which is the head, bringing a fixed way to think, to share your thoughts that uplift and inspire and motivate other people with questions and possibilities. And then the conceptualization, ajna function. People with this defined they love researching and analyzing and processing data and being mentally creative. They enjoy that mental stimulation and wanting to be certain about things. So that's the defined functions, how you're designed to express yourself and get in touch with your body's awareness so that you can operate authentically from the true nature of who you are. So that's number 4. The defined functions. If there are any questions, y'all stop me, but I'm going to move right on to success code number 5, which are your shadows and distractions. And so again, these are the uncolored, the white and open places. If you have your chart, we call that undefined, and it provides information and wisdom that will serve your life and career in 2 beautiful ways. Number 1, again, it's going to let you know where you're challenged, distracted, pulled off track, pulled off center from making the right choices and decisions that allow you to reach success in your life. Now, these functions, look at them. They've been white and open for your entire life. And so with this lifetime of conditioning, for the most part, you probably do operate from your patterns and your vulnerabilities and your shadow behaviors that pull you off track. We are going to support you to utilize your conditioning, your shadows, and your distraction, turn that into the wisdom that you were designed to share with other people. And so, given you have an open function, there is a question. If you're stuck, if you're challenged, if you're defensive, any of that stuff, go to the open function you're designed and ask the question that is here. Am I losing focus? Am I mentally defensive? Am I being mentally defensive? Am I talking over everybody trying to get attention and be the star? Am I confused about my direction and my role and where I'm going? Am I overcompensating, with this willpower that I'm not designed to have and trying to prove something about myself? Am I avoiding the emotions of other people? I'm avoiding conflict. I feel touchy, nervous, and defensive. Am I overworking myself, advisors, initiators, and evaluators, not utilizing my energy accurately, not knowing when enough is enough? So I'm overzealous. Drive and stamina here, under pressure, too much in a hurry. and survival instinct. I am literally holding on to things for longer than is healthy for me. Now, one thing that people know about me is that I love a happy ending to every story. Here's your happy ending. This is what happens with the wisdom of these functions. You know what's inspiring. You know what to think about. You know what to say and when to say it. You're okay with your many ways that you are designed to embark upon roles and directions. You know who has a healthy willpower, a healthy self-esteem or not. You know who's healthy to be around emotionally. You don't get caught up in others' drama. You know how to utilize this fuel pressure of others. You know when enough is enough. And you know when to let go of something that is no longer healthy for you. So those are the 5 codes. In rounding that out, this is what we looked at, y'all. We've looked at your career type, how you express yourself, what is happening in your personal interaction, what is that nonverbal presence communicating, what is your decision-making strategy. We're enticing you to come to class to learn more about that one. We will also look at your defined functions in depth and how they show up healthy versus unhealthy. And you'll learn in 3 classes about your shadows and distractions and how to turn that into wisdom. And so that is the end of that part of the presentation. I'm going to ask if there are any questions or comments, because the remainder of the class is letting you know what we provide in terms of how you can join us. So I'll pause again, Sarah, and see what's in the chat box. And if there are any questions, please feel free to ask any questions that you might have.
Yeah, we have a couple questions. One's from Christine. What do the letters stand for on the body graph, E.G., etc.?
Oh, that's a great question. In human design, I don't know if you're familiar with human design. The planetary icons, the planetary graphics are there. We don't use the planetary aspects in BG5. So for every one of the planetary aspects, we have created what we call a life aspect. So let's say the moon brings this energy of emotional, it's what drives you. So that's the D for driving force. In terms of the E that you asked about, the CE, I think that's what it was, core essence, which is the sun, grounding and balance is the earth. So is that clear the way I have explained that? Or do I need to find a picture for you?
She said that she's aware of the planets. She's just trying to understand what they stand for, like the M, for example.
The
All
N,
of them, though. Like how does she find what the letters stand for?
is it not on the chart that prints from your website, Sarah?
I'm not sure. I think that that's using the
You know what? It's
software.
not. You're absolutely correct. It's not. It is not on the website that gets printed out. That's a great
Is it
question.
something, could they find that in the definitive book or through class?
You know, I imagine there are a plethora of softwares out on the internet that would,
Yeah.
you know, why don't you put my email address in there and we can chat back.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Um,
Yeah, and she sees it all now, she says. And so yeah, take a screenshot of that, Christine. And then you can save that for the future.
Yeah, the MMI software definitely has these descriptions here, and we do talk about them in the class, but I never noticed that, Sarah, that they don't show up on the map that's created on the website. That's a great question.
Yeah. And we have some more questions. Monica says, you presented us those statistics, how many builders are on the Maya advisors and so on. Do we have any prediction how the dynamics of the Maya will change from 2027? Will there be more initiators?
You know, I don't know the answer to that question. I know that how we occupy and express our roles have over time changed. That way back when it was more of an initiator world where it was, you know, very domineering, dominating, you do things authoritatively my way. And we have been in a different kind of environment most recently, doing things from our thinking mind. What I have always heard, and you may be able to say to affirm this as well, Sarah, when I was introduced to human design, my sister was a projector / advisor, and there were all kinds of discounted courses for them, and that it's really important for advisors to take their place in the world in a very healthy way to guide us forward. But I've also heard it's going to be vitally important for the initiators to be initiating us forward as well. So I think it's more in how we're operating versus percentages, because I don't have the answer to the percentage. You and I can certainly ask someone.
Yeah, that would be my response too, is that
Mhm.
it's more about what those initiators do to make their impact versus the percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question, though. It's always nice when they ask a question I don't have the answer to. Okay.
Yeah. And Patty has another question. Hi again. I know I already asked you this, Tuck, but will we all have more engagement in the actual class, or will it be more of a webinar style like this? Just checking.
It's interesting. And Loveline has been assisting me for quite some time. We open the class up for a lot of interaction, but frequently there's not a lot of conversation. Like, it's not there. The interaction seems to be a lot more in the forum. We have had a class outside of the class as well in order to ask questions if that's something that is needed, and asked for. But definitely, there is information to deliver. And from my perspective as a builder and how I receive things, I'm totally open to being asked a question as I move along. So I don't know, Loveline, if you want to add to that based on your experience as well.
Yes, so all our courses, classes are not the webinar style. They are actual active interaction in each of the classes. So just to clarify the first logistics stuff, how we interact. So it's a live interaction with Tuck and all the assistants. So we answer all the questions live as we are presenting. So hope that helps. So you can ask your questions verbally and even through chat, both. So we ask all the inputs from you during the class, and we give a lot of assignments, but we do interact live. I hope that helps.
Okay, Christine, I just FYI, since I have Sarah's sitting here, I'll just say we really are focused on having you express the definition of your design in a healthy way. When that occurs and you're following your decision-making strategy, your open functions are going to be open and available to attract the right people, circumstances, so that you can share your wisdom. That's the way, that's the perfect world. However, we've been conditioned for a lifetime. And so for the most part, the open functions, they really do operate from our shadows and the conditionings. And so we spend 3 classes looking deeply at each function. In Sarah's case, if she felt stuck and upset, it might be that she's holding on to a job or a relationship for longer than is healthy for her survival instinct, that she is allowing herself to rush, and get under pressure and in a hurry because she's taking in energy from the outside world, from other defined driving staminas, and somewhat amplifying that. So I'm assuming it would feel sometimes anxious, and Sarah, you could certainly speak to that in a moment, in terms of her emotional intelligence function. Where am I avoiding conflict? Because I flat don't want to be around other people's emotional drama. And then in the willpower function, where am I undervaluing myself, trying to prove myself and overcompensating? So does that help?
She
Perfect.
says yes.
Yeah. I didn't know if you had anything to say, Sarah, since this is your chart.
It's like you know me.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And we have another question from Jen Rivers. Can you tell me about having these undefined areas role confusion, overcompensating and committing, lack of flexibility, overzealousness, and too much in a hurry.
Okay, I'm trying to understand the chart, that one, and where too much, the nuts. Ask me the question again. I don't think I have the question.
Can you tell me about having these undefined areas? And then she lists the undefined areas.
Well, I would say go back to the slide. And again, always remember that based on our upbringing, wherever these functions are open, they're open to outside influences. And so to, in quotes, protect ourselves, I don't like that word. We create patterns of thinking, patterns of behavior that are shadow behaviors that do not allow us to be fully present to life and whatever is in front of us. And so we work with the shadows and the distractions that are a part of these open functions so that you recognize what they are in your own design and are able to stay open. Like you don't get hooked by people. You're not reacting from that function. You're open and available to share, your inspiration, to speak the right way. Yeah. Is that helping at all, Christine?
This was for Jen, but Jen, will you let us know if that helps and if you need some more information? Yeah, she says that helps. Great. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, and we would love for you to
And
come to class.
yes, you'll learn all about that in classes 8, 9, and 10 of Foundation Semester 1. Okay, great. And other people were happy you went back because they missed those slides. We have a few other questions. Casper's wondering, I have very little knowledge of human design other than my type. Do you cover the core basics in the foundation classes?
Yes, and I'm actually going to, in a moment, look literally at what's covered in each semester. If you can hang with us for a moment, is that a possibility? I think we'll give you the information specifically there. Does that work?
Yeah, that should work.
Okay. Anything else, Sarah?
I'm gonna have to get organized with it if you want to continue on with the presentation and then we'll follow up at the end.
All right, here, I'm going to speak to what is available in terms of your joining us, the best place to start, specifically if you don't know anything about BG5 and or human design. That would be our foundation courses. We have 2 semesters. Both of the courses are going to give you a solid and understandable foundation for you to understand your own unique career design, as well as the codes that we talked about. So you'll identify what your gifts are, the talents in your design. You'll identify the shadow behaviors in your design. You'll learn how to move beyond those so that you can share your wisdom, because we want you to do what you love and love what you do and thrive and prosper. Not only are you going to understand yourself, you're going to understand others. Number one, because you understand yourself, you know how you're interacting with others. But in learning the information, you're going to understand how come others operate the way they operate as well. What are the dynamics, the underlying energies between you and other people? What makes you different? And how those mechanics operate and are designed. Again, somebody said to me years ago, do you want to keep living a life of effort and struggle, Tuck, or joy, creativity, and ease? And I said, well, that's a no-brainer. I really believe that understanding and having this information will create that kind of life where we're able to prosper and be fulfilled in all areas. You're going to understand the nuances of a BG5 career design chart. We're going to introduce you to the language, the keynotes of the BG5 system, again, so that you can understand yourself as well as share this with others. You'll learn the BG5 language, which again is different than human design. And this has been for the purpose of making this system and the information more applicable and easily received in all environments, specifically professional environments around the world. And then finally, if you want to be a BG5 certified consultant, the foundation courses are a prerequisite for that. So let's look at what is included in Foundation 1 and Foundation 2, 10 classes, 2 hours each. You'll learn about the career types that we touched on today, specifically 1 class for each of the types. And so we're interacting with you about your type, and as well as if you have anyone in your periphery that has that type. So deep information about the 4 types. We're also going to talk about the personal interaction styles that accompany the career types. What is that nonverbal presence that we are bringing to our communications? Again, each one of us as types operates differently in terms of our interaction style. Decision-making strategy, again, the simplicity of the BG5 as well as the human design system to me is decision-making strategy. When you are grounded in what yours is and you are honoring and aligned with that, again, all the other dynamics of your chart are going to fall into place. And so we'll go through all of the decision-making strategies that were on that previous slide. We are also going to learn something called key indicators so that you know when and if you're on track and or off track. As a builder, when I am on, I'm satisfied. I hum. When I'm off, I'm frustrated. So each career type has a different key indicator. Assimilation is how is it that each and every one of us are taking in and processing information, and we do it differently. Some of us are independent. We want to do it by ourselves, quick and alone. Other people are collaborative and require time and conversation. Some people need to move around. Some people need the rest of the world to adjust to them. And so it's beautiful in learning the assimilation styles in terms of environmentally when we're working with other people. How do we honor ourselves and how do we honor others in the process? We have the 9 functions that we talked about. We're going to go into each of the functions, and you're going to learn how that function expresses when it's healthy versus unhealthy. It has been one of the biggest keys to supporting the clients that I've worked with, because they have a map, they have something to look at to see if they're aligned and or out of alignment. And then again, we spend 3 classes on shadows and distractions to learn how those show up, how you can take advantage of it, because we want you to share your wisdom from those functions. And then, again, one of the things that makes the BG5 as an assessment tool different than all other assessments, you're going to learn how to identify the conscious as well as the unconscious aspects of your design. You're going to understand how this part of you operates. Number 1, that it exists, and number 2, how it operates. And so that's a lot of fun and very different. So that's how we're going to unlock your personal operating style in semester 1. Semester 2, I know it doesn't look like there's a lot on the screen, but let me tell you, there is a deep dive into a lot of powerful information in semester 2. For any one of you who are familiar with circuitry and human design, that's general thematics in the BG5 world. So the themes in your design that are there that give you information in terms of how you are approaching life and work, what's happening when you're working with other people. Do you empower? Do you share? Or are you a supportive thematic type person, or a combination of those? Huge in pulling everything together, at least it was for me. The 36 strengths in a design so that you can see what are the gifts that you bring to the world that are there for you to consistently rely on in making your contribution. Channels in human design. The 64 traits, gates in human design, so that you can identify your talents and, confidently express those as well. The 6 qualities, better known as the lines in human design, are qualities that flavor how a trait expresses itself. So we'll learn about those. And then very excitedly, we're going to go into the 12 public roles. You might know that as the profile. So how you're designed to fulfill your purpose, how you are to express yourself publicly in your role and in your life's work. That is what we're covering in semester 2, action-packed and filled. Sarah, I didn't know if you wanted to speak to the CEUs in a moment. I figure I'll go through these and then you can come back to that. Look at you putting the registration in the chat box. So the class, Foundation 1, begins July 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific. I believe we landed on 16 UTC. Sarah, if I'm wrong, let me know. Early bird price ends July the 4th. That's $825 versus the regular $875. There's also 2 monthly payments. We have a payment plan. That's if you are signing up for the foundation course. Please know the first class is a trial class. It's free. Given you want the essentials package, the BG5 Institute has done a beautiful job putting the package together for you. Semester 1, semester 2. It also includes the self-study emotional intelligence workshop for free. And you get a one-on-one career design overview at a reduced price. That's $18.99 versus the $23.20. There's a payment plan there as well. And so that's how you can join the foundation. 17 UTC, thank you. I thought I would put this here just so that you can see how the curriculum works. Y'all, here we are at the foundation requirement before you move to the BG5 consultant certification, unless you've taken human design, live your design, rave cartography, and rave ABCs, you could move into the BG5 consultant certification process. You must be, and Sarah, correct me if I'm not accurate, in the 3rd semester at least before you can embark on these advanced courses of OC16 profit potential and cycles. And so I thought just to round this out, to put this information in here as well, to pull you forward to the consultant certification with me in January 23, where you're going to learn how to deliver all of these analyses. And at the end of each of the semesters, you can, once your project is approved, you can begin delivering this and charging for your services, which I think is fabulous. The essentials package is here in the PowerPoint as well. Looking forward, here is the price for the package and how it's discounted for the regular price. Also, to let you know that this institute has brilliantly put together 2 toolkits, an overview and a full analysis. It is not a requirement. It is hugely encouraged. We'll talk about that a lot in the classes. And then this is here to encourage you, to let you know what's possible in terms of your services. And so I don't know if there are questions or comments, anything you want to add, Sarah and or Loveleen, at this point.
I just wanted to touch on ISET and being able to get CEUs. These can be used to move you forward on the pay scale or to keep, renew licenses, keep licenses. Sometimes professionals are required to get units. We offer transcripts at BG5 Business Institute. It's important to note that not only are we licensed to teach this information by Jovian Archive, and we teach the source material, we also are an accredited school. And so with being an accredited school, you can trust that we'll always have open communication. We support our students, we support our instructors, and the goal is to make you a successful learner as you take this information out into the world. So we are backed by an outside institution that accredits us and has approved our learning events. So if you have any questions about that, you can feel free to reach out to me, but I hope this gives you confidence in your studies.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah, and thank you for being here. Any final questions and or comments about what we have shared and or how to join any of our classes? Just to give you a moment, space and time to do that if you are so encouraged to do so. Awesome, awesome. Anything for you, Loveleen, evaluator that you are?
Oh, this is a great program, and I have enjoyed it all through it. And I think it's a great way to offer to the community, I think, in the new era which we are entering. So all excited, and we hope to welcome more students and help you in this journey.
Yeah, thank you. And, there are a plethora of testimonials that are included in the PowerPoint as well. Sarah, thank you so much. I love the new presentation. I love the new slides. They feel lighthearted. And so thank you so much for your work and supporting us to put this together. Y'all, thank you so much for being here and for your listening. I know Sarah put my email in the chat box as well. I'm more than welcome. You're more than welcome to email me for any questions and or comments that you have. If we have no questions, Sarah, I'm complete. If we've got no further questions and or comments.
Okay. Have a wonderful day, everyone. We hope to see you again soon, and take the time you need to make the decision about your next steps forward. We're here to help you if you need it. Bye.
Thank you.